Well, it seems like periodically, and I don't like doing this, but it seems like periodically I come on here and I have to do some sort of a rant or even just like talking point video about the Yankees. And people will say you only do videos when it's something negative about the Yankees. Well, put it to you this way: over the Aaron Boone experience, right? In the past, how many years I've been doing content, I've never gotten to a point about the Yankees where I'm going to say they're going to snap out of this and actually become like a good winning team, and they're going to go far in the playoffs and they're going to go to the World Series. They only went to the World Series last year because they beat up the AL Central and the Guardians and the Royals, and that's really how they got there. I mean, it's just factual information. It's a calm statement. And then the Yankees faced real competition. They shit their pants and choked in Game 5 to the Los Angeles Dodgers with a fifth inning that is one of the worst innings to remember in baseball history and also playoff history. And why people have these huge expectations, or they say on Twitter, the Yankees are going to be fine, after something like that, and even just the last few years of management under Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman, it really befuddles me. But it's not for me to be like, try to realize it for them, right? It's not for me to try to convince them. They want to stay in that little fandom bubble, they can. But the Yankees, yes, they are in first place right now as of June 18th, 2025. They just lost the series to Los Angeles Angels. They will be playing another game against the Angels tomorrow, Thursday. They recently got swept by the Boston Red Sox, which that was another catastrophe in terms of offensive performances. They got a little, treat beating the Royals, and then before that they lost to the Red Sox as well. So the Yankees have been, per se, on a cold streak, right? These last 10 games, they're 3-7, 6-game losing streak. Right now, they're probably going to be about 1.5 games in the lead of the division because the Orioles choked the lead against the Tampa Bay Rays. It was an 8-run lead, which is diabolical. But I'm pointing to two different, I would say, suspects of this struggle that the Yankees are on. And one is, okay, we already know. And the second one is, we're realizing it, or at least you guys should realize it now. I have already realized it. So let's get number one started off the bat. That's Aaron Boone. He comes out with the same answers in post-game pressers. When Anthony Volpe had that ground ball out a few days ago against the Angels, he hit the first pitch off Hunter Strickland. And usually when Hunter Strickland or any other pitcher comes into the game, you want to take a strike, right? You just want to sit there, see what he's throwing at you. No, what he did is he grounded, chopped the ball right to third base, rolled his wrists the wrong way, and that was the end of the game, right? So Aaron Boone comes out and says, sometimes the best pitch to hit is the first pitch to hit. First of all, that's one of the dumbest answers I think I've heard Aaron Boone say. Number one, I don't really care that he got ejected against the Red Sox. I mean, that did not fire the team up in any sort of way. So, number one, again, from a baseball standpoint, that's just a stupid answer. Number two is, why don't you talk about how badly he did there, right? Let's just say, okay, it was a good pitch to swing at. How come he chopped it to third? How come he didn't hit a line drive into the outfield? How come he didn't hit a base hit? Talk about that. But Aaron Boone is not a baseball guy, as we have seen since 2018. He is not a baseball guy. Yes, he's been in a baseball family, his brother's baseball, his father's baseball, but he's not a baseball guy. He is just told what to do. He comes up with these quotes that are completely robotic. And then tonight, after the Yankees lost the third game against the Angels, lost the series to a team that's in fourth place in the AL West, by the way, and again, the American League is nothing special to talk about, but being fourth place, again, not great wherever you are. You know what Aaron Boone said? He said, well, we walked a few times tonight, which was good. I felt we got better swings off the bat tonight than last night. I mean, it's tough to get angry about this crap because for me, it's just going through the motions each season. They get hot in April. They get hot in May. Everybody goes on these hype trains. June, July, they kind of have these struggles. And it's more of a microcosm of what you're expected to see later on in the season than the beginning of the season being a microcosm of what you're expected to see in the playoffs. Like the Yankees never fully play out like the beginning half of the season, how the Yankees were swinging hot, right? Trent Grisham was doing well. The Yankees hitting those home runs against the Brewers. That was all for show. That was all for show. And now we see the Yankees are cooling off, right? They're in a divisional bind. Yes, they lead, but by 1.5 games. Trent Grisham. Everybody was going crazy about Trent Grisham. Once I looked at a specific thing, that's when I figured out why Trent Grisham was hot. I figured out why Trent Grisham was hot, that being he is on a contract year. He needs to play really well to get a contract from the Yankees or another team. And he's cooled off. He's hitting below 240. He still is like 15 home runs or something like that. But that's not where I'm going with the entire rant or talking point or just general talk in this video. Because, again, Aaron Boone is the number one guy that deserves blame, besides Brian Cashman, of course. But this is more on Aaron Boone and more team-centric. And, of course, we saw the bad base running with Jason Dominguez looking like the controller died in one of the games a couple of days ago. And then we move on to the next guy, which is where the Yankee fans need to realize he's not what was advertised to be. It was another false advertising scandal or scheme by the New York Yankees, and that is Anthony Volpe. Anthony Volpe is a failure of a prospect. Now, people say, well, this, and this, or they'll come up with their reasons. Here's how I'm going to play devil's advocate, but I'm actually going to counter my devil's advocate point and go into how I really feel about Anthony Volpe. Well, the devil's advocate point is that the Yankees postured this guy up for years and years because he was supposed to be generational. He was supposed to be the next Jeter. And it's not like that's a fallacy or that's just a theory. Well, I mean, you gave him Jeter's number that Jeter first wore in spring training. You gave that to Volpe when he started, getting some spring training reps many, many years ago. I think that was number 70. I want to say that was either in 2022, 23, something along those lines, right? That's, when Anthony Volpe was going through spring training. Eventually, years later, he would get called up. So they were very well aware that was the expectation. They wanted to advertise, and this is what the Yankees typically do. They advertise these prospects, other than Aaron Judge, as the next this or the next that. They never let them become their own player, and they compare them to these pinstripe guys who've done really well. Gary Sanchez, failure. Gleyber Torres, failure. But Volpe is also a failure, right? When, you look at him being compared to the next Jeter and the predecessor to Jeter, well, now he's got competition building up with George Lombard Jr. in the minor leagues. But why is Volpe a failure? Number one, people had this certain narrative that Volpe was getting better at shortstop and that his arm strength was getting better. Well, he's got 9 errors at shortstop this season, and he cost the Yankees arguably the game in this most recent game against the Los Angeles Angels. He boots an easy double play ball. Hit on the ground, pitch from Tim Hill, boots an easy double play ball. And then he throws the ball away because he panicked. And I think the Dodgers said it, so I'm going to repeat it. Once you try to make the Yankees play baseball, they can't do it. They just panic. And that's what Anthony Volpe did on that play. He panicked. And you just see in the last at-bat he had of the game, he's getting beat by 93-mile-an-hour cutters. Just in general, if you're a major league hitter, and if you have those expectations on your shoulders, even just to be like a average baseball hitter, shouldn't be missing on 93, at least nowadays, right? You should be getting that. If you're missing on 99 or 100, okay. He's wiping the floor with you. He's throwing those pitches, and he's wiping the floor with you. Mopping the floor with you. But 93, not great. Not great at all. And Volpe, He's in 235 on the season, 8 homers, 39 RBIs, 8 stolen bases, 726 OPS. In his last 7 games, 1 RBI, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, a stolen base, and a 115 batting average. That is not what a shortstop for the Yankees should even be hitting like. And again, this goes on Anthony Volpe for the way he's playing, and this also goes on the Yankees because they touted him as this next Jeter, right? You look at last season, right? He did slightly better than his first. We gave him that first-year excuse. 12 home runs, 60 RBIs, 156 Ks, 243 average. And then you go to 2023, total of 21 homers, 60 RBIs, 52 walks, 167 strikeouts, 209 batting average. And you know what's the worst thing about this Anthony Volpe failed investment? Is that the Yankees had a very, very, very talented free agent class of shortstops many, many years ago. Carlos Correa, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager were the top names. I wanted Seager. Some other people wanted Correa. I wanted one of those top shortstops either way. The Yankees deferred on all of that. Not just to get to Volpe, but in between, they had Isaiah Kiner-Falefa play a shortstop that he was terrible at, and it's not really too much IKF's fault. He was put in a position by the Yankees because the Yankees like putting square pegs in round holes, and that was off of a failed experiment where Gleyber Torres was at shortstop, and they moved him to second base within weeks of the end of the 2021 season, just before the playoffs. So the Yankees not only have a failed investment on their hands in Anthony Volpe, but now we look in the past, right? Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Carlos Correa. You could debate what you want about Correa. Semien and Corey Seager not only went to the same team, they started out poorly, and a lot of people wanted to take trophies on that. But, what do they have that the Yankees haven't had in about 15 years? Anyone? That's a World Series ring. World Series ring in 2023 with the Texas Rangers and Bruce Bochy, a real manager at the helm. You could say, oh, he's 60, 70 years old. Well, he's got more rings than Aaron Boone. And as long as the Yankees continue to ride out this roster, as long as Aaron Boone is the manager, Brian Cashman is the general manager, and you have players not being held accountable in that locker room, which also falls on the part, and people are not going to like this, falls on the part of Aaron Judge for being leader and captain, this team is not going to see a World Series. This team, I will say it again, you could either say is the Dallas Cowboys or the San Francisco 49ers of baseball. The 49ers at least made it to 2 Super Bowls over the last 2 years, which they have failed to win. The Cowboys, on the other hand, have not been to a Super Bowl since sometime in the 1990s. It's been a long time. So, I would like to say that because of the bandwagoning, maybe, I don't know, I'm just throwing shit out there. The Yankees are the Dallas Cowboys of baseball, at least the American League, until further notice. The Dodgers, they're spending like there's no tomorrow. They had signed Sasaki, Yamamoto, all these different guys. And guess what the Yankees did? No, we're concerned about budgets and concerned about money. But the Yankees, I think they're looking to invest in another team or something along those lines. Actually, no, that was the Jets, so forgive that entire statement. But hey, listen, they have AC Milan, and they tried to buy a NASCAR team last year with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Anyway, that's all I got. By the way, folks, please go out on, it's posted on my Twitter if you go in my replies, but also it should be attached to the comment section below. Your Fire Boone, Fire Cashman tees. It's never too late to get them. Nobody else is doing that right now. Nobody else on the market, because I'm about action and those folks are about talk. Anyway, Appreciate you guys so much. We're looking to do a few more streams Yankee-wise throughout this summer. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you soon.